Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Big exciting day for me today, and hopefully you guys can see some difference in my stream from now on. I've just installed a brand new microphone, which I can't show you because it's up here in front of my head, and I've got a brand new camera stand as well. So I'm a fair bit excited about it. So the volume that you're getting should be lots better, or the clarity of the sound you're getting should be a lot better. I just know that my camera is out of the way, which is awesome as well. So basically, I'm just going to check my volume, make sure that's okay. Oh, it's very loud. Maybe I need to turn it down or just talk really softly. The trouble is the mic has a volume button, but it doesn't say which way is up and which way is down, so I may have to have a bit of a fiddle later on. Anyway, I will talk very softly and hopefully not burst your eardrums, or just turn me down if I'm a bit noisy your end. Anyway, so yeah, big things happening. I've got a new laptop as well, so hopefully the quality of the stream is a bit better as well. Okay, so as I say, jump on, tell me where you're watching from. If it's your first time, please mention that as well. Got a few people on already, some of my motley crew. Deb there, hey Deb and Robin. Deb, did you, I think Robin, you're a demonstrator as well, aren't you? Did you go to the, what was it, the Creativity Now yesterday? I spent the morning watching that, wandering around. I made the cards, so I was going to bring those out and show in a minute as well. Okay, so if you find anything particularly distracting on the stream today, please let me know as well, just in case, because you never know. Sometimes new isn't necessarily better, but anyway. Okay, so I bought this stamp set from the new catalogue. Softly Sketched, it's called. It's got 3 lovely nature themed images there, and it's got some really nice fonted sentiments as well. Yeah, I bought it because I could tell that it would be something that would challenge me, and I tell you, it has definitely done that. It's lovely, and I really want to make a success of it, but it's something I'm going to have to play with for a while. I played with it yesterday, and I tell you, from what I've said before, you know, I often admit to having lots of failed cards on the floor behind me, and I tell you, I had so much failed cardstock yesterday that I was on the verge of giving it in, but I'm not going to. I'm going to persevere. That's not a really good way of selling a stamp set, but yeah, if you want something that's going to challenge you and something that's going to be get the old grey cells going, please think about this one. The card that I eventually went with is this one here. So yes, Deb, you have to remind me. Thankfully, it's going on last, the twine or ribbon. This is the card I came up with. I have to upfront admit that I pretty much, after my frustration of not being able to come up with anything original, I actually I got this one from Pinterest, and I'm just searching my phone to see what the lady's name was so I can give her proper credit. Her name was Brenda Crawford. I don't know where she is. I'm assuming she's in the States. But anyway, thank you, Brenda. If you ever see this video, thank you for your inspiration. That's how I usually do things. If I've got a new stamp set, and I think we probably all do, I'll sort of play around with some ideas that other people have come up with first, and then sort of springboard from that onto my own ideas, which is I think that's probably a great way of doing it. And we share our designs basically so other people can be inspired by them. But anyway, this is the card I'm going to make. It uses the grapevine, the bunch of grapes from the stamp set, which was really the image that attracted me. I'm not quite sure. Is that because I'm a wine lover? Who knows? Anyway, and it's in grey granite. This is I've got all the things out, grey granite and Highland heather. And I've also used the exposed brick. embossing folder, actually have popped it on upside down, so I have to make sure I emboss it the right way this time. So let's get going with this. Hopefully you'll see the benefit, the upside of this stamp set, even though I have sort of almost played it down, but it's glorious. Okay, so let's get started. I have everything cut this morning. So I have as I mentioned, grey granite card base, normal size for me, 5.5 by 8 1/4, scored in the middle, or roughly thereof. We had a lovely day yesterday at we had a demonstrator only event called Creativity Now, and it went for most of the morning. And we featured, I just don't want to confuse matters, we featured this stamp set, which is one that's not current at the moment. It's upcoming in the next mini catalogue, so the Christmassy mini catalogue. It's obviously not a Christmas themed one, but it's really nice. And these stamps are glorious. Look here. This is one of the cards we made during the session, and it's called translucent florals, and that's the look that these things have. They look like you've stamped them on vellum or something like that. And in actual case, we actually used vellum for one of them. So we made 3 cards, those 3 here, these 3. And so we made 3 cards with demonstrators around the country and around the world yesterday, which was really fun. And they actually gave us the options to step a couple of them up, which was really good as well. So this is obviously the stepped up version of that one. So it's a really good reason to become a demonstrator if you want to be involved in international, national events like that. It was really fun. And then my team, or local members of my team, got together and we made the cards a second time in the afternoon, which was even fun. So if you're thinking about it being a demo and you'd like to get involved in that sort of thing, please reach out. Okay, so let's get back to our card of the day. Okay, card base. Again, then I have a piece of basic white, and it is probably just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card base. So it'd be 4 inches by 5 3/8. And this is what I'm going to start the background stamping on. So let's get that started. So here's our little grape. I think I actually thought it would be bigger than that when I got it, but it's a cute size. So that's really cute. It's quite large though. It doesn't fit on a square block. I found that I needed to put it on the mega big rectangle block. And somebody may know what the letter, it's got the letters on it. Somebody reminded me the other day, which I had no idea. It's an I block. There you go, an I block. Okay, so I'm going to grab my smoky slate. It must be smoky slate. Yeah, okay. It's not grey granite, it's smoky slate. It's grey, okay? Guys, it's grey. Okay, I'm going to need a piece of paper to stamp off on. Just bear with me for a minute. You've got that before, Diane. I'll get a piece of grid paper. I really test my microphone, if you can hear me as I wander over the other side of the craft room. So nobody's mentioned anything about the quality of the sound or the image yet. Obviously, it's not strikingly different, so I spent a bit of money on nothing, did I? Oh well, it's all right. It's better. It actually leaves me a lot more space to do my crafting because it's all off to the sides. Okay, so my smoky slate, which is smoky slate, not grey granite, smoky slate. Now, with this background, I don't want it as in your face as a single stamp, so I'm going to stamp off once and then stamp on to the white. So I'm just getting the sort of the hint of grapes. And I'm just going to pop that all around the edge. So I want, oh, that didn't work very well. I want grapes all the way around the edge is basically what I'm after. Thankfully, I can go over that again. That's better. So I just want lovely bunches of grapes, big, ripe and juicy all around the edge, which is what I've got there. So really nice stamp there. what frustrated me a wee bit yesterday was that I'd like to be able to watercolour it. Yeah, so watch this space. I may be able to watercolour it after I practice. Sound is good even when I walked away. Well, there you go. So I'm walking away again now. I'm able to get my cut and emboss machine. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, the stamp set, in cut and emboss, the embossing folder I'm going to use is the exposed brick embossing folder. I'm going to have to make sure I put it the right way in this time. So I want it that way. So I want it facing up that way. It's just that I want the brick work to be popping inwards rather than popping outwards, if that makes sense. So let's pop that through there. Let's hope I've picked the right way to do it. Yes, I did. That's right. Only a card maker would probably realise that was different to the other way, but there. So that's how that looks. Isn't that really nice? You can get the feeling of grapevines up against old walls in, old Tuscan villas and things like that. So maybe I'm romanticising it a bit, but that's what I think of. Okay, so we'll put that down there. Not that I've ever been to Tuscany. Been to France. Actually lived in France, but I haven't been to Tuscany, I must say. Anyway, but I did see a lot of grapevines, as you can expect. Okay, so that's the card base there, or the first layer. I'm just going to bring that back and pop it onto my card base. Now, Jan Casey, who is usually on, I haven't seen her pop on yet this morning, and I are doing a stamp camp in August. I'm going to start advertising it next month if you're keen to jump aboard. It'll be basically, yes, so basically we're using the Beautiful Balloons bundle to create 5 cards each, so 10 cards in all. And for the stamp camp, we're actually going to pop those together in a PDF, record some videos and open a Facebook group. And you just basically purchase some products from that range and you'll get access to the group. And then on the day, which is the 12th of August, we will pop the videos up for everyone to craft along. So if you've never been to a stamp camp before, please reach out. Yes, but you will need, somebody said to me the other day, can I do it without the Beautiful Balloons bundle? You will need the Beautiful Balloons bundle. There's no kits with that one. There's no kits, nothing. We don't send you anything. You need to use everything from your own stash. It's probably a qualifier. Okay, so that's our card base backing there. So I'm going to do the grape on the front. Now, this is the bit that got me yesterday. I think I probably had a billion tries as to whether it had to be first stamp or second stamp, or, stamped off once or stamped off twice, and let's hope I can remember what I decided, because this could be another opportunity for me to muck myself up. I haven't brought my wipes in. What have I got to wipe off with? Just a dry one. I'll clean the stamp properly when we're finished. Got some spray, stamp and mist there. Okay, so let's see if I can recreate what I've done. So let's just get okay, so that's the first stamping. You have to be careful. I find with this one, I don't know whether it's just my stamp or whether it's the stamp, you have to come in quite a lot with so that's the first stamping. That's the second stamping. So you can still get quite a lot of image there. And that's the third. Okay, so looking at the card I've made, I think I've got the background is my third generation. So I have to do that and then that. And then we're going to do that. Wish me luck. I'm almost nervous. I should have pre-recorded this video, shouldn't I? Okay, so that's the first stamping. That's our background. So 1, 2, I might do that again because I can't see whether it's completely inked. 1, 2, and then we'll do this one down here. So that's our 2 background grapevines. And we're going to go in now with just the first generation, nice and dark. Make sure that that's inked because there's no going back. Oh, and Rose Fuchs, you were here yesterday. Rose will be watching the replay after church today. I have, after all our jokes about you stealing my embellishments, I actually have your embellishments from yesterday's session, so I will pop them back to you, just so you know if you're looking for them. Okay, so that's the one on top. That looks really good. The colour will lighten a wee bit once it dries, especially with this Highland Heather. You can see there it lightens from that quite dark to that sort of softer tone after a wee while, but we'll keep working nonetheless. So what I'm going to do now is grab the deckled rectangle dies. That's nice to know you're in for Stamp Camp, Deb. We're going to have prizes as well, which is a little bit different to the Stamp Camps I've been a part of. We're going to have prizes. So, yes, watch out. We're not going to have, like, not everybody will get a prize, but there'll be 2 prizes that are pretty worthwhile. I'm not going to spoil the surprise yet, but watch this space for the prizes. Okay, so I'll grab my plates and my deckled rectangle. Now, part of me thought maybe I should put this second image or this second stamp in through the embossing folder as well, but I decided not to, just to make it stand out a wee bit from the... I'll be careful there. Yesterday we were die cutting vellum and some of it has stuck to my plate and I'm conscious that I don't want it to go onto my image. So I might grab another one, just bear with me. Got some more here. I might grab another one that's clean so I know I'm not going to get ink transfer. It wasn't actually ink, it was blends. And I think the blends, because they're alcohol, tend to hang around a bit longer because they're not like water-based. Anyway, that's good. They're very good for blends, but they did hang around on my plates. So there we are. We have our deckled rectangle, which just adds a little bit of interest to that, that image. It's not a hugely complex card. I think I've actually overestimated it half an hour, but we'll see how we go. So I'll get rid of that. I don't think I need that anymore. Okay, cool. Oh, I do. Actually, I do, but that's all right. I can bring it back. Okay, so I'm going to pop that onto a little backing mat of Highland Heather and then pop that on my card. Okay, so let's grab some glue. Where'd the glue go? Oh, sorry, crash bang. Downside of the new mic is that I'm told it will pick up everything. So if the vacuum cleaner goes off in the background or the dog barks, chances are you'll pick it up. So I have to tell Stephen to be particularly quiet now. No swearing at things in the kitchen. He's actually gone swimming, so you won't be here for a wee while. Okay, so that's there. So I want some dimensionals because I'm going to pop this one on dimensionals. Something I picked up yesterday at Creativity Now, and I'm quite set in my ways in certain things, but I would never, well, I don't know. I don't ever think of popping that layer on dimensionals and then that layer on dimensionals, and then the sentiment on dimensionals. I'm sort of a what we call one-dimensional girl. Yeah, so one layer is on dimensionals generally. But yesterday when we made one of these cards, we actually had 3 lots of dimensionals. It sort of reminded me of the days where we used to have shoulder pads. I think I've made this analogy before. You remember the days we had shoulder pads in our shirt, and then we'd have shoulder pads in our jacket, and then we'd put on our coat, and there'd be shoulder pads in our coat. How many? Has anyone ever got more than 3 layers of shoulder pads? So you have like shoulder pad build-up sort of thing, I used to think of it as. So that's giving my age away now. And then we'd have really high hair as well. So you'd be all shoulder pads and hair. Isn't that funny? Wouldn't think about it now. But anyway, yes, so this card we made yesterday had 3 lots of dimensionals, so it did remind me of shoulder pad build-up. But it was great. It was really nice. So I've decided that it's that's a result of my prejudice, not the way that that it should be. So maybe I'll incorporate a few more dimensional layers. That's curled up and it's annoying me. A few more dimensional layers in my designs as usual. Yes, we did use a lot of dimensionals, didn't we? I think the ladies that came here in the afternoon wondered what I was up to when I rang them or messaged them and said, bring your own dimensionals, because I realised that when I made my cards, I'd probably used a whole packet of the things. So I didn't want to, as much as I love them, I didn't want to use lots of dimensionals in the afternoon. Okay, so there we are. So much with the basics of the card. We've got to have a sentiment, of course. So on the original card, I've popped "Just hope you know," so you can see that there. So just hope you know ... and then the rest you probably inside you put how much you'll be missed, or how amazing you are, or I love you, or you're not alone. Look, it's a perfect it's really a lovely stamp pad for all the stamp set for all those sort of special occasions. Actually, my sister just lost an in-law, an older gentleman, so I might give her this one, and I'll say just hope you know you're not alone. I'll put it on the inside. So there you are. You're witnessing an actual card that I'm actually going to use and not just sell for fundraising in a few months. Okay, so just so you know, I'm going to go a bit deeper with the sentiment as usual. So I've got Highland Heather as the colour, so I'll go Gorgeous Grape. Thank you, Deb. I'll go Gorgeous Grape for my sentiment. Just got it on my fingers. I washed a load of jumpers yesterday. You can see this one's a bit sloppy. This is a sloppy around home jumper. Washed a load of jumpers yesterday. And I've just got a scrap of white here that I'm using. Just hope you know. Yeah, and I think probably about 4 jumpers. About 4 jumpers, and all of them had various colours of ink somewhere on them. It was just like, and then the ones that didn't have ink had food down the front. I'm a very sloppy crafter and obviously a very sloppy eater as well. So it was ink and food, basically. If I didn't have those 2 things, I would never have to do any washing. But anyway, that's all good. What would life be without ink and food? Okay, so I'm going to grab and I'm looking around. I'm going to grab my cut and emboss machine back again. And a paper bag that somehow decided to come along with it. I'm going to grab my deckled rectangles. She says, looking around desperately, not knowing where she's put them. Where did I put them? Deckled rectangles. Where did you go? There's the plastic bag. Oh, here they are. Okay, so I'm going to cut myself a deckled sentiment box. Now, this is only a tiny weeny sentiment, and I don't want to go too big and cover over our beautiful image. So I'm going to use 2 cuts to make this sentiment box the right size. Now, get that out, Julianne. The ladies who came here yesterday afternoon, I said, Susan, are you there? You were going to watch today. we just couldn't do a trick. I tell you what, it was a comedy of errors, I tell you. If anyone had been watching, I would have gone down in their estimation, no end. We just made, I think there was several attempts at a couple of cards, and I think I was as bad. And then I'd lose things. I couldn't find this and I couldn't find that. And I think we'd all just obviously had a bit too much, I was going to say sun, but no sun. I think we had a bit too much of something. Anyway, it was fun. We had a laugh. Okay, so I've cut it once. Probably I should explain what I'm doing. Cut it once so that the left-hand edge and the top are at the right edge, at the right distance. Is that you, Susan, saying you are here? Yes. Did we have a nice time yesterday? And then I can't see any comments on my iPad, so I'm not really watching. I can't watch the Facebook very well. It was a comedy of errors, that's for sure. It surely was. Another reason to sign up as a demonstrator with my team. You get to do lots of laughing. Okay, and then I'm arranging it the second time so that I get the bottom right and the right-hand side right. So you can do that with any sort of sentiment box die. If you want a stitched edge or this deckled edge, just pop it through twice. And I'm going to get a lovely, perfectly sized, deckled edged sentiment box out of that. Okay, so I think that's the last time I need my stamp. My cutting emboss. There we are. Pop that so I don't lose it. Find the card back. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to pop the sentiment on, keeping in mind I don't want to cover over too much of our grapes. I thought I'd just pop the sentiment on there, sort of half off, half on type thing. Now we're going to need a little sentiment on one end and some glue on the other. Or as they said yesterday in the, going to need a dimensional on the J and glue on the rest. So it was yesterday they were saying you need a sentiment on your C. That was the actual sentiment they were using, had a C at the beginning. A sentiment, dimensional on your C and a glue on your S or something. It was quite funny. We did giggle. I think, yeah. Okay, just hope you know. Here we are. Oh, you're here, Rose. You weren't supposed to be here. Well, not supposed to be here. You were at church. Anyway, you must be watching in church. That's going to get you in trouble. What tool is that you use? You mean this one? Look, this is very bad of me. I should use take my pick tool, which is just as good in many, many ways, but I always find myself going for this. And this is my mum. Bless her, she's still with us, she's 82. But when I was a teenager, my mum had her own crafting business, which is funny because I used to swear that I'd never do it, and here I am. But anyway, she did a ceramics crafting business. So she'd have ladies into our garage and they'd get ceramic pieces made in moulds from slip or clay, and then they'd clean them up. So it's basically just a ceramic cleaning up tool. But I find it pokes me a lot of the time. It gets in the way and I poke myself, but I'm very clumsy sometimes. But I find it really easy for picking up. I get really easy. Find it really good for picking up my embellishments and things like that. And it's very, very good for poking and getting hold of these mini dimensionals. So if you have a ceramicist in your life and they are having a clean out, just grab that. I'm assuming she used to use that end for scraping things, and that was more fine, that end. But it's the best thing. So yeah, if she ever wants it back, she's not getting it. She doesn't do ceramics anymore. So okay, enough talk. I've done a lot of talking today. It was supposed to be a very quick card. Anyway, so we're going to do our twine before Debbie bursts a blood vessel, reminding me. I'm going to do, this is just our normal linen twine. It's very handy. It's been in the catalogue for years as far as I know. It's been there for as long as I've been around, so that's 5. I'm going to do a double bow just because I want a bit more oomph to it. So I'm just folding my twine in half, and then I will just make my bow and then trim it. I don't want a huge bow, so this could be another comedy of errors while I try and get my bow right. I blame my kids. They're both boys. Bows wasn't big in my family, and I'm not much of a girly girl myself, so I don't really do them for myself, except for crafting. Mum does giggle. All those years we gave her a hard time about people coming into our house and, "You never take any notice of us, Mum, you're always down doing classes." And then I did exactly the same thing to my boys. Okay, so I'm just cutting the ends off there. It is, once you get started, it's addictive. I understand now why she was doing it. Okay, so that's my little double bow of twine. I'll grab a dotty thing, a glue dot. It's very technical of me, isn't it? A dotty thing. And pop that on. So this is going to go just where the grape stems are, just to sort of hide a little bit of that messiness. And so they look like they're held together with some twine. And bling. I'll do the inside later. I'll pop a thing in there and pop that second "You're Not Alone" on there. So hopefully Kylie doesn't watch this video or she'll ruin her surprise. So it's just some bling. I didn't have anything that would really match, or do I? There's that stuff one we used yesterday that I'd forgotten about. Where's that? This is the classic matte dots. We used these yesterday, and to be honest, I'd forgot that I had them. But they have a really nice, white one, and I think it's actually very vanilla. There is a white one, but it's gone, grey and black. So I wonder whether maybe I use. No, actually, no. I'm going to stick with what I know. Don't change the design, Julianne. So I'm going to pop some of these around. This is just our Old Faithful iridescent gems, just to add a bit of bling. There we are. Okay, and that's turned out really well. I'm really pleased with that one. So I think from this, as I mentioned, I can springboard to actually designing something, for my, is that you, Tammy? I can't see anybody's names on YouTube, on Facebook. Here we go. No, I can't see anyone's names on Facebook. There's something wrong. But yeah, no, Kylie's not going to watch this. She's as sick of crafting as by the time she left home as I was. Okay, so that's my card for you for today. Yeah, so I like that. I don't know that it's a particularly, would that be a good theme for a sympathy card? I'm not quite sure now I think about it. Maybe because it's driven them to drink. Who knows? It's probably not a good connotation, is it? But anyway, there we are. That's our card for today. So this is, as I mentioned previously, the softly sketched stamp set. If you decide to buy it, I would love to see what you come up with. I'm going to persevere with it because I think I love it, but straight as I say, mentioning I'm struggling to find designs of my own, but I think I love it. So hopefully it will reveal itself to me over time. A couple of things to mention while people are just finishing up and signing off. We have our on the 30th, probably a plus joining offer, which ends on the 30th. So $283 worth of product of your choice for $169 with free postage. So if you're thinking about being a demonstrator and if you'd love to join the Chatty Stampers and do some of the events that we do together, then please reach out or contact me. And at the same time in June, we have our 15% off designer series paper sale. So combine those two offers, and you could basically drown in designer series paper for a pretty cheap price. But if you do just want to place an order in June, that's my host code. I won't expect you to write it down real fast. It's over on my Facebook page, but VRA7MT. If you order under $250, please use that host code. Okay, I think that's me for this Saturday. It feels weird being on Sunday. It feels weird being on a Sunday. But as I say, yesterday I was tied up with the Creativity Now. Hopefully you like that one. Any questions at all, anything you want to comment about, please reach out. And as I say, if you want to join the team or place an order, I'm happy to help with that as well. But anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you have the great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all